what's your advice when it comes to negotiating for a job already done versus negotiating for what I'm going to do in the future?
Well, I think if you're in a job and you feel you're underpaid, I think it comes back to what I've said earlier. You've got to justify why you feel you're underpaid. So that's you're doing your homework in terms of the market's salaries. And there's lots of places on the web now that you can research salary levels. I think if you're negotiating a new job, then I think probably it's probably still a good idea to know what's a reasonable salary. But I think you've got more opportunity there. I think you've got to try and sense about how much the other party really wants you.
Yeah.
And I think this is important. I think I would strongly say put what you want on the table first.
Yeah,
Don't wait for the offer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of putting that what you want on the table, be ambitious. But credible. So, so put at the highest salary you dare, but not a silly salary, if you see what I mean. Again, you've done your homework. Let's say the midpoint is the top end maybe is 80,000 a year. Go as near to that as you like, but don't go 120 if you know that that's not really a realistic thing. But get your offer in first, and be bold, but be credible.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's also, as an employer myself, it's important when I'm it's all about value, right? It's about value exchange. So if you can demonstrate to me clearly the value you bring, then the negotiation is then around, okay, what's the dollar amount we attach to that value that you bring?
Yep.
It's first we have to agree that what you think is of value to me is of value to me and to the company. That's the first negotiation. And once we agree that, that's absolutely, the value, and you're the person to deliver that value, then the next logical conversation is, so what's the, how important is that to you, right? What's the actual amount of money that you're prepared to pay for that? And then I also think it's important to put milestones in place. Okay, so once we've agreed, then there are certain levels of milestones that are in place along the way to ensure that we're checking in with each other and we are achieving, what you have promised and what I've promised along the way. I think that's, for me, when I negotiate salaries with my employees, that's how I like. I agree, do the homework, do all that stuff, then come with prepared to advocate for yourself, but advocate in a way that's not unrealistic, right? So, and not asking me to almost back pay you, right? Oh, I've done all this, I've done this, and now I need to be paid. I remember somebody once saying it was like buying a car, driving it for a bit, and then the car showroom coming up and saying, well, can you pay me more for that car that you've just bought? It doesn't make sense. You need to be kind of building in. That's my view anyway. What do you think?
Well, I think that's true, and I think when you're first agreeing a salary, you need to have done your homework then, whichever side of the table you're on, so you know that what's reasonable. I mean, I think thinking back to the years ago, it was a long time ago when I was an employee. I suppose there is an element thinking aloud now where you want the job and so you get it, and then you're in the job for a while, I guess, and you think I'm delivering, but that's the key thing. I'm delivering. Right. Then I think maybe you could go back and start and talk about a salary increase, but you have to deliver. And this comes back to your point about value. And I think, if you are delivering, I think most employers would be more relaxed about that sort of discussion. Don't do it if you're not delivering.
Right.
Why the hell should you get an increase if you're not delivering?
Yeah.